Okay, let's talk about these mixture problems. I know that they are crazy and they're weird, and I don't want to oversimplify them and give you like a gimmick or a system, but I do want you just to kind of think about these. And so I'm going to try to work a couple or work at least one really quickly and kind of show you what the plan is as I'm doing these. So if I look at the very first one from the homework assignment that said what quantity of a 60% acid, okay, so we have a 60% acid solution, okay, and it needs to be mixed with a 30% acid solution, and it says, okay, so our goal is to get 300 milliliters that are at 50% acid. And so let's talk about how we do this. My biggest way that I can try to explain this is we've got to look at adding all of the, in this case, solutions. And then we got to look at the stuff, or in this case, the acid. And so in every problem, if we kind of look at what are we adding as a whole, and then be specific to what are we adding in terms of the stuff. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. In this case, I'm going to start with a variable, and I'll say x. X will be, not equals, but x, I want to really define this. X is the amount, it's the amount of 60% solution. The solution that is labeled 60% on the shelf, X is the amount that I'm putting in. And then we go, well, how much 30% are we doing? And some people would be really tempted to say, why? Or the variable y. But that's not what we want to do. We know how much 30% is going in because we know the two of them total 300. So it's just like if I said, there was $10 sitting on the desk and 3 of it was mine, then that would mean 7 of it is somebody else's. And how did we get that? Well, we took 3 from 10. So in the same thing here, if X is how much there is of the 60%, then 300 minus X is going to be the amount, we took the total and we subtracted the one we knew, is going to be the amount of the 30% solution. And then what I want to do is this might seem kind of weird, but I'm going to add these together, okay? And X plus 300 minus X, well, those X's would cancel out, and we would get 300 milliliters. And this is the total. That's the total amount of solution, okay? For sake of time, I'll just put the total. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this right here kind of as my roadmap of how to solve this, okay? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, that's what I'm doing. I've got X, and I've got 300 minus X, and I'm combining them, and I get 300 milliliters. Well, now let's take a look and think about how these numbers are involved. Well, I know that if X is the amount that I'm adding, well, now let's look at the stuff. And when I say the stuff, in this case, I mean the pure acid. So I'm going to say X times 60%, because 60% of it is pure acid. So X times 60% that's the amount of acid. Amount of acid in the 60% solution, right? Yeah. Okay. And then you go, well, what about the other one? Well, the other one is 300 minus X. And we got to multiply that one by 30% because that's the amount of, if this first value right here, if this 300 minus X, if that's how much, and then this other part right here, that's the 30%, that's how much of it is acid. So this is the amount of acid. Now, I know this might seem really trivial and really kind of elementary, but just hang with me for just a second. This is the amount of acid in the 30% solution. All right, now, we go ahead and we add those together. But when I add those together, I go after what it is I want. I want 300 milliliters at 50%. And that is the amount of acid in the total solution. Okay? And now what I do is I take this part right here and I make an equation out of it. And so I'm going to take that, I'm going to say, well, what would that mean? That would mean that X times 0.6, because that's 60%, plus 300 minus X times 0.3, that's 30%, equals, it must equal 300 times 0.5, that's 50%. So this is easy. I get 0.6x plus, let's see, 300 times 0.3 is what, 90? Minus 0.3x is equal to half of 300 is $1.50. And then I go, well, 0.6 minus 0.3 is going to give me 0.3x plus 90 is 150. Subtract the 90 and I get 0.3x is equal to 60. Now, without a calculator, I'm just going to multiply both sides by 10, excuse me, and I get 3x is equal to 600. So therefore, x is 200. And what does that mean? We'll go back up to the top. X is the amount of 60% solution. I need 200 milliliters of 60% solution to make this work. And what would that mean? That would mean I need 100 milliliters of that 30% solution. So every time, I really recommend starting with all of that you got, and then think about, all of what you got, and then think about the stuff that you got. And from that, you should be able to set up some pretty good equations. I hope this helps. Have a great day.